Hey, everybody. Welcome to SJU, our morning show where we talk about all things SJU. I'm Joe. I'm joined by Eric Goldman. Hey, Eric.
Hey there, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for pulling double duty. You left your Hey Fandom set,
I did, yes.
rushed to the SJU set. I appreciate it.
Yes, Johnny Rico and Jeff Spicoli joined me for this one.
The need to know more intensifies.
That's right.
Great show this morning, by the way. If
Thank
you
you.
guys Hey Fandom with Janet Varney, it'll be over at heyfandom.com/videos. Also joined by Spencer J. Gilbert. Hey, Spencer J.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday?
I think
Let's call it a Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, let's call it a Wednesday.
Been here for years.
Been here for years. And Eric, right before this started, said that he can't rap, and I disagree. Hey, it's we were trying to think of some fun things to do around the 20th anniversary of X Men, besides just listen to me curmudgeonly complain about how I don't like them.
And then me passionately defend them.
Ooh.
Well, you have like a complicated X-Men relationship. Like, you're a big X-Men comics guy, and you like half the movies and hate the other half?
I'm weird. I like a few.
Okay.
I'm a weird boy. But instead of just doing what we normally do on this show and just sort of like soaking in my weirdness, we thought we'd do something fun. The X-Men, they're gonna show up any day now in the MCU, and the question is, who shows up? What mutants are going to be like the first core X-Men that show up in the MCU? So I thought I'd combine a couple of ideas into us drafting our own X-Men movies. And those ideas are the healthy idea that studios often do, where they hire several writers to write the same movie independently of each other. I think it's a great creative way to come up with a great product.
Well, the best is when you mash them all together at the end, because then you get something that's not at all spitting in the face of God, that was meant to live.
Which, by the way, I think that's what we do at the conclusion of this video. That is reminding me at the end, because that's a great idea. That's going to be the conclusion of this. And then also in X-Men comics, one of my favorite things about like reading behind the scenes stuff with creatives is they're like, I got to sign an X-Men book. And then they were like, you can't do anything with the following 38 X-Men because we have plans for them. So each of us is going to be trying to create our own X-Men movie, but we're going to have to determine our rosters snake draft style, just just to get the essence of those two very obnoxious things. And then we're going to see what kind of weird movie we end up with. Hey, Ryan, would you like to explain the rules of the draft?
Would love to. All right, so we are going to draft a team of 5, right? So you guys are each going to get a team of 5 and a villain too of who we think should come in. And I think we're choosing the first movie that comes in. So we're not setting up for the sequels or X-Men down the line or who you think they should bring in right at the beginning. We have a list of we have a pool of heroes. Do you want me to say the pool or do we have it?
We have it. Moulton, throw up that pool. That dead pool.
Dead pool not included.
So there's our pool of X-Men.
Yeah, no, he is included. He is included. I'm a liar.
I was going to say, I love the absolute disrespect. No Raven / Mystique, leader of our pool. X-Men.
She's in the villain pool. Moulton, throw up that bad guy pool.
Oh, okay.
But you're not wrong.
She's the leader of the X-Men. Or the X-Women, because they do all the work around here, Joe.
You're not wrong. I was absolutely going to not include her because I'm so tired of that.
And then we also want to add that we are assuming already that Xavier is obviously the leader and here with the team.
Yeah. Xavier's a gimme.
And we're doing snake draft rules, right? So that means it'll go whoever picks first won't pick again until the end of the second round, and whoever picks at the end of the first round gets to pick 2 in a row.
Sound good, gentlemen?
Sounds good.
Yes, as someone who doesn't follow sports at all, this is the most I've ever learned about a draft, by the way.
You're going to do great.
This show is how I learned about drafts as well, because you and I are very sad.
Now, Joe, did you have a way you wanted us to pick the order? Because I did a randomizer already. Is that fine?
You did. I was going to do it based on self-esteem levels, but you did a randomizer, and I think that's healthier.
I think we're using the same website. It comes out with the same algorithm. It's perfect. So it's the order I got was Eric, Joe, Spenny.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So,
I got the turn. Okay, I get to. Okay, go ahead. Who's starting off?
Eric, start us off with your first.
My
X-Men
first
draft pick.
X-Men draft pick.
Villain first. Who knows? Whatever.
No, I gotta go with the hero, and also I just feel like I very recently went on our buddy Ed Greer's Nerd Goat podcast and talked for an hour about this character. So I gotta pick Kitty Pryde, just because it's like who I hope is on there. I said that, and then I was like, was she on there? But if she's not, I actually have a big backup.
No,
You got it.
She certainly counts. She counts for sure.
Okay. So, Kitty Pryde would be my first one. Should I embellish on why I'm choosing Kitty Pryde?
Absolutely. We got to kill at least 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, so Kitty, to me, he can listen to the entire Nerd Goat episode I did to hear me talk a lot about this. But Kitty, for me as a kid, she was the heart and soul of the X-Men. They used her as, the sort of young trainee who was working with these older characters. And I thought, she was a template for a lot of characters. Joss Whedon has mentioned her as an influence on Buffy, sort of the young, determined, lots of inner strength character. She has a cool power that can actually completely screw people up. The fact that she can pull someone through a wall and then leave them there is, there's a lot of body horror if you want with Kitty. But no, I think there's untapped potential. Look, Ellen Page is a great actress, but it didn't feel like my Kitty in those movies. She was a little more too serious. Didn't have kind of that liveliness to her, and I think that there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with her. So that is my first pick.
It's a good first pick, and also our first upset, as she was my first pick.
There you go. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. All's fair in draft and war. So I'm going to have to go with Jean Grey's got to be my first pull. With the pure goal of not phoenixing her anytime soon. I think Jean is such an interesting and complex character without putting a space bird in her, and no one's really tried to do that yet. So yeah, I got to go with old Jean Grey. What a lady. Solid.
I'll start off with another leading lady X-Men and pick Rogue first. I feel like Rogue can mesh well with a lot of the other characters. You can kind of backdoor pilot Rogue and have her show up, solo in, a Captain Marvel movie or, a Black Panther movie. You can have her really pop up anywhere and do the classic Rogue takes this person's powers away from them. So they have to, fill Act 2 with being a normal schmuck. That's like a classic superhero go-to and introduce us to the character. And that ties into my second pick because, I'm trying to think of where these movies haven't really gone before, where the MCU hasn't shown us. And what it really hasn't taken us to before is like a riverboat gambling cruise with a horny Cajun man. And that's why Gambit is my follow-up pick. Horny in the MCU like Gambit is. So I think that's adding a new element of a guy that's down to clown. In and among the Avengers.
I wanted to get a comic called The Self-Consciously Horny Gambit, like the Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I really like your logic with Rogue, because I think it's, in terms of the MCU trying to do unexpected stuff, like introducing her as a hero in an X-Men movie and then making her the villain of a Captain Marvel movie would be really cool and completely unexpected. And also, I agree with you. The MCU desperately needs some horniness, and I don't.
More horny riverboat gambling.
Yeah, horny riverboat gambling. Yep.
Basically, the movie Maverick, starring Mel Gibson.
Sure. Yeah, I'm completely fine with it. I really like those picks. Ryan, do we go back to me or do we go back to Eric?
So now it would go back to you, Joe. And then Eric is about to get 2 picks in a row again.
Ooh, okay. Okay. So for my second pick, on one hand, I see the logic in just making the original 5, maybe toss Angel and add Storm. Just those are supposed to be your X-Men. So that's the strategy I'm sticking to, or at least I'm trying to stick to, is the original 5, but replace Angel with Storm. So my second pick's Storm. She's dope. Every incarnation of Storm is dope. Even the Halle Berry one, because she had one of the greatest one-liners in X-Men movie history. She's dope.
We're just gonna let that hang, Joe.
We're gonna let us all think about it.
I don't need to say it. You guys know it. I just think she's cool. She's got a great backstory. She had a mohawk for a while. That was rad. She also had we mentioned it off camera before the show started for a second. I still think one of the biggest missed opportunities in comics, because Marvel is very scared of marriage for some reason. The Black Panther Storm marriage, I thought, could have been just a really cool storyline that just launched Marvel stories for years, and they backed out of it like really quick. So I think the MCU could have a chance to do that right. So Storm is my second pick.
All right. So now, is this where I'm doing 2?
Yeah, you got 2.
Okay, so this is where I was going to pick Storm as one of these 2. So I have to rethink one of those. But for my second one, I'm going to go with, now on one hand, this is just, personal taste, and because I'm a very old person, when I was a little kid, this was a big dynamic, was Kitty's buddy, who she hung out with a lot, but is also one of my very favorite X-Men. She's so much one of my favorite X-Men. She's over my shoulder right now, and that is Magic. You can see my poster. Hey. So Magic, Ilyana Rasputin is my second one, both because I think she's awesome and I love the dynamic with her and Kitty, but kind of like Spencer said about investigating things the MCU hasn't done besides the horniness, is demons, man. We've got some of the magic with Doctor Strange. But yeah, Magic's a cool character. Ilyana, because she is a mutant, but she's also this like queen of limbo, of this sort of demony hell dimension. And she's kind of a cool trippy mix between that mutant side and that sorceress side. And she's got a cool metal arm that can appear on her sword. Now, here's the thing. I know she's in New Mutants. I'm legitimately excited to see New Mutants one day in 2025 or whenever we actually get to see it. And I think Anya Taylor-Joy is amazing casting as Magic. That probably won't stick around to the MCU because it just probably won't work out that way. But I would love to see her and Kitty together. That'd be a cool dynamic. And then my third, because my third was going to be Storm, but now I'm going to switch it up, and because I can't have to, and I'm going to make it Colossus, just because it's like, hey, that's Magic's brother, and he's been in a lot of the movies, but it's like we got the version that was in X2, 3, and Days of Future Past, who didn't even have a Russian accent. We have the version in the Deadpool movies. He's fun, but he's also just, the whole point is he's just this like metal lumbering funny guy. So I'd like to get like Colossus proper, the artist, calling his little sister Little Snowflake, sort of a tortured soul. You can do him and Kitty's romance, and if you ever want to do Secret Wars, you can go crazy with him cheating on Kitty with an alien. What a bastard. So there's just a lot of doors this opens here to have all three of those characters who are very sort of closely linked in X-Men mythos.
Are you worried about Magic treading like too much of the same ground as Scarlet Witch in the MCU? Yes
and no, because obviously there is that whole like, sort of untapped magic potential, no pun intended, and maybe the darkness within her. But I think that because her whole thing is this entire like other dimension that she's sort of queen of, with actual demons that have to do her bidding, that can be a whole other thing than sort of what they're doing with Scarlet Witch.
And Magic is Russian, whereas Scarlet Witch is Sokovian.
Exactly. And Russians and Sokovians hate each other, as we all know.
Yeah,
they can have a battle eventually.
Well, you had 2 out of 3 with Matthew McGuire in chat, who said, "Give me Magic, Cable, Kitty, Deadpool, and X-23." So you gave him at least one of his pairings.
There you go.
Okay. So on one hand, who said it in chat? Someone said, "Oh, X-Men movie with an X-Men comic." James Bunn said, "Are they avoiding Wolverine? X-Men without Wolverine is a canceled comic." And on one hand, I agree with you completely. On the other hand, I really like Iceman a lot. He's one of my favorite X-Men. Evil, or not evil, but like really dork, murdery Iceman from the Age of Apocalypse was like the coolest thing that 6th grade me had ever like processed through his brain. I just dig the guy a lot. He's Elsa in a leather jacket and more personality. So he is going to be my third pick for my X-Men.
Am I next?
You are next, sir.
Well, I'll take Wolverine. I mean, my God, I'm trying to make a movie here. But I feel like while we have seen a lot of Wolverine on screen, and it's all been Hugh Jackman, right? I don't think anyone else has played him live.
I mean, the kid in Origins, at the beginning, yeah.
So I think Marvel is making great strides in terms of representation, but we still need to see some short guys. Get me short Wolverine. Man, let's rise up. We need a 5'5" or less Wolverine. We need a tiny Canadian furball full of rage. I don't want this like 6'4", 6'5" Hugh Jackman, greatest showmaning around. I want a tiny little actual furry anger creature just leaping in people's faces.
I don't even think it limits your casting. Like if you can make Chris Evans look like he's 90 pounds in the first Avenger before the Superhero, you can make any number of actors look like they're 5'2".
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And have body hair.
So yeah, hobbitize them or do forced perspective or whatever you got to do, but give me tiny Wolverine to join Rogue and Gambit.
Respect. Absolute respect. Spencer picks again.
Oh, I pick again. Oh, Dazzler. She's fun.
Ooh.
Again, for the
get some disco in there.
Yeah, for the purposes of cinema. I mean, she can turn is it light into sound or sound into light? Either way, it's going to be real trippy and cool.
Sound into light because she's shooting the light.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking of some sequences you can put together with her. Bring back Scott Derrickson, do the Doctor Strange stuff, but give me just the sweet laser light show breakdown in the middle of one of these movies.
That's a good pick. Okay, let me rethink what my next pick was. Because again, it should be the core 5, but Dazzler is the shit. I'm going. You know what? I'm going to pick my villain.
Ooh.
Oh, you're okay. I thought we were waiting for that.
Going out of order. I'm picking.
He's going rogue.
Going rogue.
Not picking rogue.
But going rogue. What do you got?
Call me a cool Southern lady who can pull off a hood when she's drawn by Chris Bacalo. But I'm going rogue. And I'm going with Emma Frost and the Hellfire Club. I cheated a little bit on this and just said, you know what? Hellfire Club just consists of all. But you know what? Magneto gets his brotherhood. Yeah.
Sure.
The Sentinels get crappy politicians and Bolivar Trasks and everything that entails, I think.
And Nimrod.
Yeah, and Nimrod.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be weird if you just got Bolivar Trask and not Sentinels.
Right.
In Congress, the whole thing, just legislation.
So I'm going Hellfire Club. I like the idea of if we need to sort of plant the idea of some longstanding roots for mutants in the MCU, maybe they've always been around. Why haven't we known about them? Stuff like that. Who better to do that than the rich sex Illuminati? The Hellfire Club, just walking around in their S&M gear and controlling the government. Plus, Emma Frost is neat, and you have the potential for a villain to hero arc over the course of the next couple phases.
And a secondary mutation if you want to have her turn into a crystal person, too.
Oh, yes.
So is it me now? And
yep, 2 picks.
Who's taken off the board now? Storm, Wolverine, Gambit, Dazzler, Emma Frost.
I could do a quick recap. So far, Eric, your team is Kitty Pryde, Magic, and Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
Joe so far has Jean Grey, Storm, Iceman, and he's picked his villain, who's Emma Frost in the Hellfire Club. And Spencer, who has only one more hero pick left, has Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Dazzler. But I guess, Spencer, you'll still get 2 picks because you got a villain, too. You got to get.
All right.
Okay. How many am I doing right now?
So you get 2.
Okay.
The only
So
person who doesn't get 2 in a row is Joe because he's in the middle.
Okay. So with Storm gone, we need a field leader. And I'm going to go with Cyclops.
Okay.
And here's
Summers in chat was like, will someone please pick the leader of the X-Men?
yeah, and I've actually always really liked Cyclops. I know he's kind of a divisive character because people are like, oh, he's boring, he's bland, but I kind of think that's his thing. He's trying to be the perfect X-Men, but it's all the burden of it on him, and sometimes that makes him crack. And I think there's a lot of potential there with what you could do with him, trying to be sort of the true blue leader of the team, but but also he's an asshole, so you can deal with that too. And have those optic blasts unleashed. So Cyclops will be my leader. I've got a 5th pick now. Do I go villain or do I do my 5th member?
Get Sauron while he's hot.
Kent Sorenway's hot. Soren, star of a popular meme with Spider-Man from one of the greatest moments in comic book history. I will actually choose my 5th X-Men, I think. And I'm going to choose Nightcrawler. He got some cool moments in the previous movies, especially X2, obviously. But yeah, just a really cool character as far as his look. Now, I know it's a little weird because I'm picking 2 teleporters with him and magic, but that's okay. Teleportation can be fun, and we're going to go crazy with it in my X-Men movie.
All teleporters.
Yes, all teleporters. Well, 2 out of 5 still. It's a lot of teleportation. But also I love when he's got the sword. Here's that's the thing that they've never touched upon, right? Like the whole pirate thing, sort of what he'd like to be and that whole fun side of it. And sort of that fun, playful character who's masking his own pain over the fact that he was treated so horribly because he's a mutant who can never hide what he is physically. Mixed in with the religious aspect. There's a lot of cool different things with this character that I think make for a really fun, interesting member of the team. And then him and Colossus together, they have a good buddy dynamic there. So those are my 5 X-Men.
Villain. A lot of cool little narrative stuff, like just sort of like DNA forming in your pick so far, because you've got you want to tie in Amanda Sefton, aka A-Tripper, into this. Nightcrawler's girlfriend, who also does hell stuff with magic. It'd be weird if the first X-Men movie out the gate for the MCU involved A-Tripper, but that would be my kind of movie.
Also, let's go deep here and say, let's think you're Disney. You're all about the merch. You just saw what Baby Yoda did. Nightcrawler done right. You can get to the Bamfs, the little cute versions of Nightcrawler that Kitty told in her story, but it turned out they were real. So and then Bamf, like stuffed Bamfs, that would just be hot.
With Kitty, you've got stuffed Lockheeds too, probably.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, it's all coming together.
Spencer's gonna wedgie both of us. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with let's see here. I've lost Cyclops. I'm gonna go with that's a hard sentence to say. Pre-Blue Fur Beast. So we're going with Hank McCoy. Little pre-Beast action. He's going to be my 4th pick.
Do tell. What do you like about a hairless Beast?
Well, I guess for one thing, you got to have somewhere to go. You got to give, there's some bingo card stuff there for like X-Men fans to just be like waiting for the moment where he finally gets covered in blue fur.
If you're doing it correctly to the comics, you should have gray first, and then the blue fur.
Right. And then it's slowly.
Right, Eric loses his last pick. That's how this works.
I'm the only real fan, damn it.
I like, you need the super scientist, and with Stark gone. And we don't know what they're going to do with like the Fantastic Four yet. There's some science holes to fill in the MCU, and I like the idea, especially if you're going to keep focused on the fact that everyone hates mutants. With the racism themes. I also like the idea of a brilliant guy with like limitless contributions to make being completely shunned by his field because of the way he was born. And also when he would quote books in the cartoon, I thought that was cool.
And he says, "Oh, my stars and garters."
Oh, my stars and garters. He would not say that. I think.
He is absolutely saying, but they have to build up to it like Avengers Assemble and Endgame. It's got to be like many movies.
Or just like a Chris O'Donnell type character, like finds a reason to say Twisted Metal.
Yeah, exactly. They walk into a room filled with stars on the wall and garter belts everywhere.
Oh my, stars and garters.
We'll get there.
Is my turn?
Yeah.
All right. My team's got too many white people, so I'm gonna pick Bishop. He's got the cool, like, sort of post-apocalyptic mullet thing. He's gonna have to have that. I want it to be wavy in the back and all business up top. Man, like the Marvel Universe has too many quipsters, and I feel like between Rogue and Gambit and Dazzler, like there's going to be a lot of sauciness all flying around, and we need someone to ground it, to absorb all the quip energy, which I believe is Bishop's mutant power, and then release it in concentrated blasts. Every time they quip, like his eye starts to glow even more. And then, or is that Cable? That's Cable. The M on his face glows. How does Bishop work?
No, the M was a brand.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So that's why I'm picking Bishop. I think he's definitely grounding the team and kind of keeping them focused. And he brings in the whole time travel element, because when you write yourself into a corner, as we learned with Endgame, time travel, you can just see what the future's like, or the past.
Between Dazzler, Gambit, and Bishop, your team has a lot of energy releasers. I like it.
Yeah.
Absorbing and releasing.
Spencer's all about balancing those chakras, man.
That's right.
There's too much tension in those chakras. You gotta get that stuff out.
Mm-hmm. That's what Gambit's there for too.
And then Spencer, you still got to pick a villain last.
Oh, a villain. Gosh, I don't know.
Pterodactyl.
Is that's Sauron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have him fight some dinosaurs.
We're going to the Savage Land, baby.
Savage Land, baby.
I don't hate that.
I don't think we've seen the Marvel heroes fight dinosaurs yet. Aquaman briefly ran across some at the center of the earth, as you do, but I don't think we've seen any dinos across 22 films. It's like almost a given that you'd see one dinosaur, but no. So there you go. They're fighting Sauron the dinosaur. I refuse to learn anything more about this character.
Nor should you. It just gets dumber the more you learn. Devil Kazuya 27 just said no one chose Jubilee, right? And I was going to for like a minute, and but I'm not gonna, which is great content for me. I'm so glad that I just filled a minute of our video with that thought process. I gotta have a Wolverine type at least, and I know it sort of busts into the picking only. No, you know what? I'm going to stick with it. And I need a Cyclops. And what better way to graduate into the X Men? Because you're related to the one that you didn't get. I'm going Havoc. Nepotism, baby.
Oh yeah,
nepotism. It makes the world go round. You know what? And that's his role. He's made team commander. Not qualified for it at all, but his brother made a call. So yeah, he's the field leader ahead of all of these other much more qualified X-Men.
I want to see him on screen with that crazy ring mask, by the way. The three rings.
Yes, no, absolutely. What he will not do is that weird hula hoop thing that he did in the movies, where he would just be like, and then with his dong. That was weird. He won't do that.
I like it. That's like some inter-crew conflict built into it, because they all kind of resent the leader. And will he prove himself, or will he turn villain? That's good.
All right, so is it me now? The my villain pick?
Yeah, last pick is your villain pick.
Okay. I think, although it was a little, I'm not going to. I was a little tempted by Shadow King, who I thought was really cool on Legion, which is a show you should watch on Hulu because it's a cool show if you haven't seen it.
Watch Legion.
But I'm going to go with someone who has not been done at all. They teased but never actually delivered on, which is Mr. Sinister. Just because there's like a whole cool thing there with, how he's been around for centuries himself. The fact that he sort of dabbling with the genetics of the mutants, and then get into that whole aspect of it. If you wanted, you can go to the more recent comics where they've kind of played him as a very campy character. But I also like sort of the classic version as well. Either way, he's this sinister presence behind it. You could also, that can open the door to the Marauders if you want to get really dark. So yeah, I just think that, because they never used him, teased, but never actually fully used him, be a cool character to fully get in his cool, crazy black and red caped glory.
You also have Cyclops on your team, Eric, and obviously you can Mr. Sinister can be as involved in Cyclops' life as you want to.
He loves that Summers Gray DNA. I mean, I don't have Jean as well, but
that's weird. That's a creepy villain.
Yes.
That's a really creepy villain who's just so horned up for.
He's all about breeding. He's
person's DNA. He is like the first Pokemaster, kind of.
Yes. He does want to catch them all. Yes. So there's my team and my villain.
All right, I think that's everything. Eric, what's your?
You want me to do a quick recap of the?
Yeah, Ryan, give us that recap.
In full. All right. So for Eric's team, who picked first, he's got Kitty Pryde, Magic, Colossus, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and Mr. Sinister as the villain. Joe, you have Jean Grey, Storm, Iceman, Hank McCoy, Pre-Fur Beast, Havoc, and Emma Frost / the Hellfire Club as your villain. And then Spencer has Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Dazzler, Bishop, and he has, I'm going to say, the Savage Land / Sauron specifically as his villain and setting. That's the draft.
I'm digging it, guys. We've just completed our first annual X-Men MCU draft. I like the results. I hope everyone at home is pleased with them. Let us know in the chat who you would have drafted, and we'll see you guys right here next year for the second annual MCU X Men draft.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, subscribing. Again, the Janet Varney Hey Fandom this morning was super, super fun. So make sure you go check that out. And you can check out all of our previous Hey Fandoms over on fandom.com, specifically /videos. So make sure you guys check those out. So now we're going to, I don't know what this little last part of the show really looks like, but Fandom did a survey because Giancarlo Esposito was like, I want to be in the MCU. And so we did a survey that was like, well, who should he play? And the top picks were, I think, Kang the Conqueror and Doctor Doom, of course, Xavier and Magneto.
And Norman Osborn.
Which I think is honestly perfect. Like,
yes, it is.
I'd keep him Norman Osborn personally. But him figuring out who he was going to play made me wonder, like, with any of these picks, with any of these characters, do you guys have like dream casting that you've always had for any of these characters?
Of the ones that were in that mix?
Yeah, the ones who were in the mix on your team, on Spencer's team, whatever. Like, have you ever had anyone who you're like, man, I've always wanted to see someone play XYZ? Channing Tatum, should he stay Gambit? Because he deserves
I really want Channing Taters to be my Gambit. I think that he is a delightful actor and as fun and flirty as Gambit should be. I want to see him with a bow staff and a royal flush. I think that he just seems like he fits in the MCU. Can't you just see him going quip for quip with now who's left now? Chris Pratt or whatever. Like, I can totally see them being like sharing the screen. So,
you could literally I think that's the natural one-up of the he's copying me scene, is you have Star-Lord, Thor, and Gambit, and all of a sudden they're doing deep gruff but also Cajun.
but also doing Cajun. Yeah. I did like, I thought I'm still standing Taylor Kitsch, man. I thought he wasn't the worst part of Wolverine Origins by a long shot. I thought he's cool, man. I hope he gets a movie career after all the things.
He did good. Yeah. It's hard to look cool in that head sock, and he did his best.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about how Gambit's a funny character because it's like, oh, he's like a mysterious criminal, long trench coat, playing cards,
Guild or whatever.
But then he's wearing that crazy jumpsuit underneath, like that trench coat. He's wearing like a spacey, colorful, multicolored thing.
It really looks
layered.
Yes. He's literally layered. It does look like a Robotech jumpsuit, right?
Right.
Like that's what you or like a Pacific Rim uniform that he just wears a trench coat over. I've never really understood the why.
It's his gambling armor.
Where he hides all his cards.
That's right.
Cards.
For me on the dream castings, I mean, I mentioned this earlier. It's like, it is funny that when they cast Anya Taylor-Joy's Magic, I was like, perfect. Like, it was like one of those, like, yes, like, because I love the character so much. I think she's a great actress. So I was like, this is so perfect. So it's happened. We just haven't seen the movie because it's been sitting on the shelf for. So I'm genuinely so excited to see her play that role, while also that sad knowledge that there's almost zero chance that they will port those actors over to the MCU. But if they did, I'm like, hey, she's right there. She's great. Use her. But if it's not her, which it probably wouldn't be at this point, maybe for Magic, I was thinking Catherine Newton, who was in Detective Pikachu, Supernatural. She was in one of the Paranormal Activity movies, but I feel like she has that, because Magic's this character where it's like, oh, she like, she's Russian, but it's like she looks like the blonde girl next door, but then she's this crazy demon master, has a super dark side, and I think Catherine Newton kind of be cool for that role as well.
That would be a cool fit for that. And you know the sad thing about New Mutants again too is once upon a time, I visited that set, and
It's so crazy.
that young lady was so stoked to be playing Magic. Look, you can kind of tell that all that when you do visits like that, everyone gets trotted out to be like, "Hi, this is what I'm doing. Here's my top 5 favorite things about being in this movie," while everyone like hurriedly writes notes. And you can kind of tell the difference between someone who's just like, "I was trying to finish my sandwich and now I have to talk to you," and someone who's like, "I'm genuinely excited about this." And maybe also she's just a very good actor. But she seemed she was like going through all of her combat props and yeah, she was super pumped, and she was like, "Oh, it's not here. Can someone find spoiler?"
Right. I can guess what it might be.
So yeah, it was super fun. So I do hope everyone actually gets a chance to see her play the character.
It's funny. I interviewed her fairly recently for Emma, and they did the thing, and it didn't shock me of saying shortly before the interview, no questions about upcoming projects, which really was about New Mutants, which, you know, I get it, because at this point it's been so delayed and they don't want people like being like, "Here's my 20 questions about your movie that hasn't been released." But so I did throw in at the end, I'm like, "I can't ask you any questions about New Mutants. So I just want to say I'm really excited to see you in the role." And she was super nice. She's like, "Oh my God, we'll have to talk again when it comes out." I'm like, "Hey, your lips to publicist ears." But we'll see.
Remember when you said the thing?
Right.
That's legal. That's now.
Exactly.
In the chat, Devil Kazuya says that while I actually really like this idea. Ben Mendelsohn says he's always wanted to play Doctor Doom, but Devil Kazuya 27 says he would actually be a really good Magneto, which I'm kind of into, because Magneto's got to look old, but also like buff and look like he can kill you. And Ben Mendelsohn looks like he could kill you.
Yes.
Yeah, with a look.
Yeah, with a look, and also I like the idea of a Magneto that looks like he smells like a sexy pack of cigarettes, which Ben Mendelsohn also does. Ben Mendelsohn does more to make me miss smoking than actual cigarettes.
That's a quote. That should be a pull quote.
He just looks like a pack of Camel Reds to me. I don't know why. I don't know. Anybody else, you guys, that you've got
I mean, just looking at pictures of Sauron, I'm thinking maybe like Pete Davidson. I think I'd bring like a fun, fresh new element into the MCU. And like, is this a serious character? This is serious.
Well,
this is a dinosaur in a loincloth.
he has been, but then has do you know the meme I'm talking about, Spencer? It's an actual panel of him and Spider-Man where he's like, where he's talking, it's something where, and now I'm going to quote it wrong, but it's something where it's like Spider-Man's like, "With all your amazing knowledge and all the things you could do, you could be helping. You
could cure cancer, but I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
That's more fun." So yeah, I think there's been moments where writers have gone, "Let's lean into the ridiculousness of this character."
Yeah. Someone in chat just said, Chid said Samara Weaving needs to be Emma Frost right after James.
I like that.
Samara Weaving needs to get in there. Yeah, she's a little young, but also I want these people on contract to play these characters for the next 20 years. So I'm good with
right. I'm trying to think of good Mr. Sinisters, and it's a little complicated because the recent version seems like, I don't know if you guys seen in the comics very recently, they've almost written, now suddenly he's acting like Tim Curry in Rocky Horror, but which is a very fun approach. But it's like, yeah, so do you go serious Mr. Sinister, or do you go into like the winking campy aspect?
The adult KO said John Hamm, which maybe is a hybrid of those two that you're saying.
right. Well, was John Hamm at one
made
point
an X-Men movie back in the day? Tim Curry would have made it. Such a good.
Holy cow! Yeah.
Yeah.
I once got someone's DNA.
Right, with the white makeup. That would have been amazing. Well, they can do, the young CGI thing. The technology's there for anything. So I'm trying to. I think Mr. Sinister though is a part that a lot of actors could have a lot of fun with.
That is a good. Yeah, I think you have to go a little like ridiculous, Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
With him, I think grimdark, super serious Sinister doesn't work live action. Because even in the X-Men cartoon, he was just over the top enough to be fun.
Right.
There's a lot of like dramatic, like no. And
well, it's funny because now and this will inevitably happen. I'm like, I'm recasting someone who was in the X-Men movies, but that will happen because these actors are going to keep working on things. We've already seen people cross from like Marvel DC. So having just watched The Great, I suddenly am like, Nicholas Hoult is Mr. Sinister, just because he, and again, younger than you might expect, but he's such a great performance in that, playing this sort of character that is, I don't know, just on his own wavelength.
You don't think it's too soon that he's, Beast?
Again, yeah. I thinking that it'll take a little while, but at the same time, knowing I think there's already been a couple of examples, but we'll eventually probably get that high profile winking, hey, this person used to be this person. And they can say, Beast, I've always been fascinated by you. And then he looks at the camera and winks, and we're like, that's right.
In the Stars and Garters room. It is
right.
Just get it all out of the way.
It's Sinister Stars and Garters room. That's why he's in there.
Mr. Sinister actually hands Beast Stars and Garters.
All right, let's big finish this. Let's do the inevitable. An executive merges these three things together and makes a horrible trash movie out of it. So the elements that I think definitely need to stay are Eric's demon visiting stuff and the sexy riverboat. Those are elements that I think need to survive into the next draft, who I guess Roth will write. Like a writer who is not one of us will create this next draft. We'll get handed this crap. But yeah, demons and riverboat definitely stay.
A sexy riverboat ends up floating into a demon dimension.
Oh, perfect. If they don't buy that concept, we're just going to write it and just slightly change the names. It's going to be Gambit.
Welcome to the Q-Men. I'm Gambit.
The Asylum presents.
Yeah.
Asylum presents
Z-Men.
Cool. Riverboat to hell.
Yeah, I think that everybody had a pretty solid and frighteningly cohesive take. So I think to combine the two would kind of muck things up. So I'm happy with just merging riverboats and demons and calling it an X-Men movie.
I'm good with that. I'm absolutely good with that.
If we could get that riverboat in the Savage Land, we could maybe have all of this.
Yeah, perfect. And everyone on the sexy riverboat and the demons have to no wait, they'd have to team up with the dinosaurs. I'd rather people team up with dinosaurs than demons.
Yeah.
Just, now we get Gambit riding a triceratops, and that's cool.
Yes.
Cherie, yes. Yeah. Amazing.
So yeah, maybe it stays a riverboat, and I know it doesn't make sense, but it was like a gambling cruise ship.
Yeah.
Going around the Savage Land.
It runs aground.
Yeah, it runs aground on the Savage Land, and then somehow demons?
With a musical number by Dazzler.
Closing credits is her singing and everyone dancing.
And then Beast gets his fur at the end because we have to hit that check mark.
Oh my
Green
gosh.
Green light.
Yeah, go picture.
Kevin Feige, I hope you're listening because we've nailed it.
Phase never.
Phase never. Guys, we did it. We created a fantastic X-Men movie. Thank you guys for hanging out and just doing dorky stuff with me this morning. I had fun. I hope you did too. Yay.
I certainly had fun.
It would have been weird if both of you were like,
I figured you were talking to the audience. It's a given I had fun, Joe.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you guys had fun too. Let us know what's your X-Men starter set? Who should play them? Who do you want your villain to be? Just throw all your hopes and dreams and your stars and garters for the first MCU X Men movie into the comments below so that we can look back in 20 years after this movie comes out to see if any of us were close. And I think we probably hit the nail on the head. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.